Hey, good night, my people. What's up? Hope and trust that all is good. The time now is 7:29 p.m. and the date is the 12th of March 2026, Thursday, the 12th of March 2026. A few days ago, I believe it was on around the 7th. That would have been okay, last Saturday. Last Saturday. I did a video or I did a recording where I twinned issues having to do with the minimum wage and the amnesty connection. So persons might want to go back and look at that. But from in relation to the minimum wage side of the discussion, just what I just what I suggested was going to happen happened. At the time I was not at liberty to say certain things to the point. I had some information, but I was not at liberty to speak of it. But I suspected from the discussion I had what was going to happen, and basically that happened where the government is thinking about phasing in different aspects of the minimum wage, which I will deal with a little later. As you see my backdrop, it says, "Don't be fooled by Labour's new workers' rights. Don't be fooled by Labour's new workers' rights." And I'm talking about Labour being in government now, and Labour as it relates to employees' rights. Don't be fooled. Um, there's a saying that the devil is in the details. And when I went to look for exactly what it meant, because I wanted to be sure, didn't want to use my interpretation, it says it means that a project or plan may seem simple on the surface, but will become complex, difficult, or problematic when examining the small, overlooked details. This idiom warns that neglecting minor specific aspects can lead to failure or unexpected challenges. And I certainly believe that that is applicable right now. The devil is definitely in the details. And as our elders would also say, not everything that glitters is gold. You have to be careful when you see some things glittering. Not everything that glitter is gold. Now, I'm gonna try to go slowly and methodically so you could follow me. It was today. They had the post cabinet press briefing and the communication director, I think that's the position. He indicated that members or subcommittee of the National Minimum Wage Committee came to cabinet and presented their proposal, and they would have proposed moving the minimum wage from $9 per hour to $13 per hour. And then I heard some other things. I'm going to get to that. Let me not jump ahead, but I'm going to get to that exactly what was said in the cabinet briefing. But before I go to that, in 1998, the labor code was amended. Certain parts of the labor code was amended. And one of the amendment had to do with the National Minimum Wage Committee and its tenure. Let me read to you what the amendment, what stands now in the Labor Code. C-22(3) of the Labor Code says, "Giving full consideration to the recommendations of the said committee," that is the National Minimum Wage Committee, "the minister," that is the Minister of Labor, "may thereupon issue an order prescribing the basic minimum wage payable for each such occupation and each such level within such occupation, provided that an order issued by the minister under this subsection shall not continue in force for more than 2 years. Shall not continue in force for more than 2 years." Right? That is what the law says. So the national minimum wage meets, it does the work that it has to do, and it makes a recommendation to government, and the government decides if it's accepting its recommendation or if it is going to vary the recommendation that the National Labor Board, the National Minimum Wage Committee makes, right? So when it's all said and done, irrespective of what the National Minimum Wage Committee recommends, it is the cabinet of the day that have the final say. So in this case, the 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 minimum wage committee apparently proposed that the minimum wage be moved from $9 an hour to $13 an hour. Cabinet can say, you know what? All right, we believe it should be $15 an hour, or we believe it should remain at $9 an hour, or we believe it should move to $10 an hour. The final decision belongs to cabinet. Now make nobody fool you, because I already see some things they're trying to shirk their responsibility as far as I'm concerned. But the final decision goes with the cabinet. Now make them fool you. Now when I come and tell you somebody said this or no, they can only recommend. Cabinet makes the final decision. Now, I would have read to you the tenure over which, or the period over which, the recommendation of the National Minimum Wage Committee covers 2 years. So every 2 years, the National Minimum Wage is activated. National Minimum Wage Committee is activated. They do their thing. They make the recommendation. Government, the cabinet of the day makes the final decision every 2 years. And this amendment, as I said, was made in 1998. All right. Over the years, governments, because between 1998 and now we would have had Labour Party in power, we would have had UPP in power. Over the years, government have been doing as they like. Right? Government has been doing as they like in relation to the activation of the National Minimum Wage Committee. And I would dare say that it is quite possible that governments over the years have not been following the law. I'm not going to get into the difference in the time, which I can, but I'm not going to be distracted with that right now. But what I can tell you is that on the last time the minimum wage was changed to $8.20 an hour, effective the 1st of November 2014. That would have been the year in which the present government returned to government. The Labour Party government returned to government. And in 2014, the minimum wage was adjusted to $8.20 an hour. Now, the next time that the minimum wage was changed from the 1st of November 2024, the next time it was changed was the 1st of January 2023. That is 8 years after. 8 years. Now remember, I said the law says the National Minimum Wage Committee is supposed to meet every 2 years, make the recommendation, government make a final decision. I am not aware that the committee had met, but let's assume that it would have met. Let's assume it would have met and made whatever recommendations to the government, this present government. It took this government 8 years from 2014 to 2023, 1st of January 2023, to move the minimum wage from $8.20 to $9. That is 80 cents. It moved it by 80 cents over an 8-year period. That's the facts. Let's come to present now. So, before I say let's come to present, so when the minimum wage was changed to $9 on the 1st of January 2023, the period of time that would have remained in force, according to the law, would have been 23, 24, and then the minimum wage committee would have met again for 25, right? They would have met again for 25, come up with whatever recommendation they're coming up with, pass it on to the government, and the cabinet will make the final decision. Right? So follow me closely. 1st January 2023 covers 2023, 2024. The National Minimum Wage Committee comes into play again. makes a recommendation, which way it goes. The government decides we're accepting, we're varying it, or we're not going to give anything. But that minimum wage again should have been, that minimum wage committee should have been activated for review again, beginning January 1st, 2025. Okay, all right. From my investigations, I'm told that the minimum wage committee convened to carry out or to begin the process of its work in November 2025. Remember I said no. From the 1st of 2020, 1st of January 2025, the 820, the 2 years for the 820 would have passed up for review from the 1st of January 2025. But from what I'm told, and persons can correct me if they believe I'm wrong, because I have spoken to persons on the minimum wage committee, and that's what I'm told. They convened for discussion, starting discussion in November 2025. And they presented their proposal to the cabinet, I'm told, on or around the 27th of February, 2026. That would be about 2 weeks ago from now. 2 weeks ago. All right. So they went to cabinet, they made their proposal. They gave the proposal. Now, reading from the cabinet notes that was held, from the briefing that was held today. Let me read from that. That says, so during the presentation, the committee, that is the National Minimum Wage Committee, outlined its findings and recommended that the national minimum wage be increased from a rate of $9 per hour to $13 per hour in order to better reflect current economic considerations and the considered conditions and the rising cost of living. So the recommendation was to move from $9 an hour to $13 an hour. After careful consideration of the report and the consultation undertaken by the committee, Cabinet accepted the recommendations to increase the national minimum wage to $13 per hour. So Cabinet has agreed that the adjustment should be implemented in phases, and that will be over a 3-year period, and that will allow businesses and employers adequate time to adjust while ensuring that workers benefit from a steady and meaningful improvement of wages. Let me just continue for now. Now, Cabinet also requested, you know what? No, let me stop there. Let me stop there for now. Let me stop at the paragraph for now. So, Cabinet has agreed that the adjustment should be implemented in phases, and that will be implemented in phases, and that will be over a 3-year period. When I heard that, I said, 3-year period? What the hell are they talking about? The minimum wage is supposed to be reviewed every 2 years. So where did that 3rd year come from? And if my understanding of the law is correct, the difference in $4 that was recommended, if it's being accepted, should apply to 2025 and 2026. So if it is accepted, what should happen is whatever they're going to use for 25, and I will agree that maybe they might want to say retroactive back to that. But whatever they're going to use, it means that workers would be entitled to retroactive pay for the year 2025. Because the move from $9 to $13 should cover the years 2025 and 2026. I don't know where no 3rd year comes in. And I want somebody from the government, the minister or whoever, to come and quote the law that gives the cabinet the right to do that. The cabinet don't have the legal right. Talking about don't have the legal right, somebody shared a court of appeal ruling with me yesterday, or day before yesterday, pertaining to a lady who was transferred from prison to Clearview. And the appeals court ruled that yes, the government have the right, or cabinet have the right for transferring, but the process must be fair. And the appeals court have ruled that the cabinet decision and the name, the number of the cabinet decision is null and void. according to the court. So not because cabinet said 3 years, tell me that it's 3 years. Let cabinet come and show. Because I read the law and the law says. That's why I read the law in the beginning. The law speaks to 2 years. And the last time when it became $9, the 1st of January 2023. The 2 years ended the 31st of December 2024. So whatever they're discussing now, the National Minimum Wage Committee is discussing now, it is applicable to years 2025 and 2026. Where the third year come in? No. Workers, you all being given a 619. I stand to be corrected. Let them come and show us the law that says the cabinet have this power to talk about spreading it over a 3-year period. Nothing go so. Nothing go so. And until me see that law, that's what me can say. Nothing go so. If they're accepting that it moves from $9 to $13, it is applicable to the years 2025 and 2026. So if you want to say, well, look, we're not going to make it $13 from the 1st of January 2025, I don't have a problem with that. If you want to say, well, we're going to put $2 to that period and $2 to the other period because it's $4 talking about, I don't have a problem with that. I can live with that. But what third year telling me about? There's no legality to that. I'm going to say it again. Let them come and show us the law. No, continuing. Now, Cabinet also requested of the committee to undertake additional consultations with the wider cross-section of the stakeholders before the final recommendations are brought forward. And this would be recommendation in terms of how do you structure the increases over the 3-year period. Is it going to move from 9 to 10 and then 10 to 11 and then 11 to 13? Same 3 years I'm talking about, right? So Cabinet awaits the recommendation of the committee in that regards, right? And so by meeting with a number of key specialists who can advise the committee in this area, so that will be a maximum benefit to employers and a minimum impact on employers and the economy of Antigua and Barbuda. No, firstly, in my opinion, that's a dereliction of the cabinet duty. The cabinet is trying to get somebody to do what their cabinet is supposed to be doing. And they're doing it for a reason. And I'm saying it's going to be a political reason. Because when the shit fly back, you don't want to come to them. The Minimum Wage Committee have done its job. It have made its recommendation. It done. The Minimum Wage Committee not supposed to look into how we going to do. Are we going to do this as well? No. When the Minimum Wage Committee have made its recommendation to cabinet, it done. Until next time when you review again. That is cabinet work. Ask yourself the question, what make them want to shuck it off someplace else? I have spoken to at least 2 persons on the Minimum Wage Committee, and they tell me they don't know nothing about that. Those 2 persons who I spoke to, who are on the Minimum Wage Committee, tell me, up to today, this evening before I come in here, I spoke to one of them. They don't know about that. They would have done their work. They don't know nothing else about that. Well, see, there's a lot of friend and company in this thing. When I asked who the chairman was, they told me. Well, you know what? Old people are saving and good for saying that. So let me not say nothing there. I just smile. But there's a lot of friend and company in this thing. And workers must understand. And everybody that smile with a friend. That's what David say. And I can say that because I am in it. Me know it like the back of my hand. So me not ask somebody 2 things. I take advice on anybody and anything. Me not think me know all. But then plenty people can talk to me when it comes to insurance and when it comes to labor laws, labor relation. And plenty people in this country can tell me about that. And plenty people in this country can tell me about that. Somebody might come and tell me about food because they run a food business. I'm a tech advice on them. That's not my field. Workers and everybody that laugh with that have our best interest at heart. But I say that again. What stupidness is this? First, you were 3 years. That's the first thing. And then when they're done, well, you know what? I'll just wait until when my people on the National Minimum Wage Committee tell me something, so I'll know. Right? I'll just wait until when they tell. But I can tell you when they tell me up to this afternoon. So I can't speak to what take place in the cabinet. I don't know what take place in the cabinet. I listen to what the man say, coming out of the cabinet, and that's what I go by. But I can say unequivocally that up to this afternoon, members in certain uncertain sectors, because it's three, it's government, business, and union, equal thing, make up the minimum wage committee. And I can tell you from one particular sector, then tell me, Dave, this afternoon, they don't know about that. What am I talking about? And I am saying that a cabinet work. If you're supposed to, if the National Minimum Wage Committee is supposed to work from the 1st of January 2025, and you allow them to be convened in a 1st of January, you allow them to be convened 11 months after, that is cabinet matter. And then they give you a recommendation. Oh, the 27th. So 1 year after, where you come and tell me that poor people, poor workers are supposed to get a retroactive pay? And you're trying to find ways about 3 years, so you pay that? You think everybody out here fools? People are better wake up. Workers are better wake up. I better wake up. Some last election, the election cycle, I did an equation. It was at $9, and the UPP was saying that if they would have formed the government, they would have moved the minimum wage to $10. Right? Which is, the difference is $1. $1. At the end of the year, that $1 become $2,496. And workers don't understand for voting their interests. Some of us are work for hand to mouth and hardly that. And some people and their family eat, they turn over eat, they turn over 3 more times and eat. For generations to come. For generations to come. And look for now. Look for us. No. You know my motto? I say it all the time. I see it as my duty, if my information, become a shared information. Whatever y'all do with information, notify the business. When the business about that. Me start to prepare myself as even hurricane come when it comes in this country. And I just hope and trust that we can make some provision for myself and my family. That when and if it come, that we have some level of preparation. Who know how to do that? That if we done the business. But this is crap. Show me the legality about the 3 years and we will yield. No problem. But me know what the law say. Me know what the law say. And once we understand the law, at the end of 2026, the National Minimum Wage Committee is supposed to start to work again. Because the 2 years would have ended at the end of this year. Whether or not they come up with, well, whatever recommendation they come up with, whether or not the cabinet want to accept it, that's a matter for the cabinet. But they don't want to accept and say, no, move the minimum wage. I will now move the minimum wage. Because it has political implications to them. That will make them run and hide. And I'm saying, this amendment was made in 1998, and both governments have been guilty of it. The UPP during the UPP time and during the Labour time. But he must stop now. He must stop. Not because it didn't happen, then he continue. He must stop. Well, I've done my part. I've tried to bring the information to you. Now take what me say. Call any one of them unions. Ask them how long, what period of time the minimum wage committee is supposed to cover for. How often they should meet according to the law. Now take my word for it. Ask them and find out. And then you will understand. That's all they do all the time. They don't fool poor people. Straight. No. If poor people want to continue to get food, then do that. Then do that. A friend of mine called me. I was asking me about it. My friend, I can't tell you. What I can tell you from what the man say is that the cabinet have accepted to move the minimum wage from $9 to $13. To my mind, the next order of business after that is that the minister is supposed to issue an order. To my mind, the minister, QT, I think he's the minister for labor, supposed to issue an order, right, as to the effective date and what it is. So may they come and say, you know what, we're moving the minimum wage to $11 effective the 1st of April. So then that means you're not getting a retroactive pay for the first year. That's what you mean. Understand that, workers. Or this is the order, and we're making it retroactive back to where it's supposed to be, the 1st of January 2025. And then you'll get your retroactive pay. Now, they can't have it two ways. And when I say two ways, I talk about cabinet again. One time, they say income per capita is a bad metric. Next time, it's a good metric. The economy is doing good. The economy is doing good, they say. Right? But now they might tell you employers can't pay. But the economy is doing good. As a matter of fact, I was reading an article, I believe it might have been an Antique Newsroom, and based on the figures that they say, firstly, me know the total number of employees using the figure they wrong. And there's no way. The say you shouldn't swear, someone else will swear. But me not believe that the number of workers in this country working for minimum wage equates to 10% or less of the working total. Me don't think so. That figure is closer to 30% at least. So, my friends, that is what it is. Let me hear what the cabinet say. And if I want to continue to take full off, take full off. If I want to continue to live for the benefit of others and not yourself, do it. Do it. But when I see me, I do certain things. I don't really want to disturb me. I don't want to say much more than that. In terms of when I don't want to disturb me. When I see me do certain things, when I see me in a certain establishment to do certain things, so I don't really want that disturb me. Just see me, hey, beef, where I say, and me go my way and I go away. Right? Because, and me I vote for, and the beef I vote for. So, the beef supposed to make our life better and put policies in place to make our life better. And it's time now that we begin to hold our politicians accountable. Red, blue, green, or indigo. That's what beef say. Until we come together again, my people, bless up.